The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
How we doing, party people? How we doing? It's a Thursday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com. As always, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. Going to put them at the top right corner of your screen so you know where to go if you're in the market for a new or used vehicle. Make sure it is Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same here on this show every single day, and we thank them for their constant support and not just Running Point, but everything that we do here at YSN. Greenwood Chevrolet, they'll go the extra mile for you. Make sure to check them out if you're in the market for a new or used vehicle. We'll talk a little bit more about Greenwood Chevrolet in the middle of the show. Today is going to be a fun show, right? It's just going to be one of those ones where I'm shooting from the hip. This is a show where there wasn't any games on the network last night. Very rare occurrence. Just kind of going to be, going through my thoughts a little bit on everything that's kind of been in my brain. And then, of course, we are going to go into the vault today as well. We'll have past interviews from winter sports to replay and relive like we try to do here in the month of July. If you're just now joining Running Point, you haven't listened in a while, for the month of July, we have been doing a series called From the Vault, which is just kind of reliving some of the great player profiles that we were able to conduct over the school year of 2022-2023. We've gone past fall sports. We did a lot of fall sports that we were able to do, and now we're reliving some winter sports interviews that we were able to do. So we are going to go from the vault today as well. We have Brooke Heron from Louisville basketball on tap for today. So that's going to be fun. And then we'll preview the night. We do have games on the network tonight. NABF World Series, the Senior World Series, is starting tonight on YSN Thursday to Sunday. Will be covered with a lot of baseball. So if last night got you still itching for baseball with nothing on the network, then we're going to have you covered with more baseball on the network tonight. So with that being said, one of the things that is just on the top of my head right now, and it got brought to the forefront of my mind because I was watching the New Heights podcast this week with Travis and Jason Kelsey with the Kelsey brothers from Cleveland Heights, Ohio. They do a podcast every week. If you're a football fan, you probably know about it. You probably at least heard of it. This week they had Julian Edelman on the podcast, Kent State alum. So a lot of Ohio in that room. And they were just talking about a lot of things. They talk about a lot of different things. It's a great, great episode. I absolutely recommend going on and watching it. Language warning for that podcast. But if that doesn't bother you, then definitely go in and check it out. One of the things that they were talking about quite a lot, and I think if you ever have a casual talk with a New England Patriot, you're going to ask them about this, and they were talking about the Patriot way. Of course, it's in quotes, the Patriot way. What are the things that made that dynasty so great? What kept them up at the top for as long as they did? And of course, there are so many things that did. They talk about so many different things that that went in, that factored into the Patriots being what they were for as long as they were. And some of them were X's and O in football. Some of them were mindsets. Obviously, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick. They talk about those two and the work they did together. But one of the things that he said, like right off the bat, which I feel like it's one of the most important in Julian Edelman's mind, because it was one of the first things he said when they were talking about it, was they had guys that consistently bought into the idea that's what's best for the team isn't necessarily what's best for you. They had a sign in their locker room that said mental toughness. Knowing what's best for the team isn't always necessarily what's best for you. And they consistently either had guys that bought into that, or they got rid of guys that didn't. Like, that was their mold, that was their mindset, that was the culture that you had to buy into to be a part of the New England Patriots and succeed for a long period of time. And Julian Edelman absolutely did that. If you followed his career, like, he came into New England, a quarterback from Kent State. They didn't really know what they were going to do with him. He just did whatever it took to be an impact on the team and get on the field, whether it was protecting punts, being on special teams. He said he was the backup holder for 3 years. Like, whatever it took, he followed that special teams coordinator around all day, every day, for like the first 3 years of his career, just trying to find ways to be valuable, to be on that team, to be a productive member of the team, and to help the team in any way he could. Probably not what he envisioned when he thought he was going to be an NFL player, when he was dreaming as a kid. No one dreams of being a punt protector, right? No one dreams of being the backup holder. No one dreams of falling around the special teams coordinator every day, just trying to find different ways to be on the field. He probably had dreams of being a wide receiver as soon as he stepped on, or I mean, he went to Kent State because they were going to let him play quarterback. He had other offers when he went from a JUCO in California to the D1 football field. He had other offers that said, we want to switch you to wide receiver. We want to switch you to the slot, punt return, or whatever. But he believed in himself in a quarterback. He wanted to go to a place that said, hey, you can come fight for our starting job now. And he goes from a kid like that to a guy that is going to go onto a team and do whatever it takes, right? Do whatever it takes to just get on the field. He didn't have the ego anymore. And the reason I'm bringing this up, and the reason I want to kind of talk about the not just a Patriot way, because it's not just about the New England Patriots, but the greatness way, like what it takes to be great, what it takes to be consistently great over a long period of time as a team, is that mindset. I love that quote, and I'm gonna be using it for a long time. That what's best for the team isn't always necessarily what's best for you, because what I see a lot in the athletics world today, whether it be professional, free agency, college, high school, even like the rec leagues and the peewee, and it filters down. Everything filters down in sports. We've talked about that at length. Hear this a lot, and different ways of phrasing it. Do what's best for you, right? Whatever works for you, do what's best for you. Do you? You got to be selfish every now and then, right? And there are situations where, yes, obviously, if you're in a toxic environment or whatever, or you're in a spot that's just not good for your mental health, obviously there's a point when you do have to do what's best for you. But people take it way too far. Like, people don't know where that line is to draw. They just think they're looking out for themselves in every situation, every day. And that is not going to conduce to a consistently great team. It's just not. You're not going to be a great member of a team for a long time. You might win. You might win in the short term, right? Because we've seen every level, every sport. We've seen some teams that are talented enough to win 1 year, and maybe the next year they don't do a lot, or maybe in 2 years they're broken up. They're not as good. They're not as solidified. They're not as cohesive. There are so many examples of that in every level of sports. We've seen it in local high school throughout the last decade. We've seen it in college, of course, watching the national college landscape. We've seen it in professional. We've seen so many teams that can be good for a very short period of time. Maybe they have 2 or 3 years where they're on top of the world, or they're winning a Super Bowl, or they're going to the AFC Championship. But then you start to see that kind of fade, right? You start to see, okay, they're not keeping it up. They're not being consistent. Um, and I think one of the reasons why is because they don't have guys that really buy into that. They don't have the guys that are saying, "Hey, we got to do what's best for our collective group." We have become a very selfish sports society as a whole. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that everyone, every athlete, everywhere is selfish and buys into this selfish mindset. That's not true. That's not true by a mindset. But when we're talking about like sports society and sports culture and sports fanhood, you got to talk in generalities. Like you kind of got to lump in everybody with everything. So I think as a sports society, we have become very accustomed to this selfish mindset. Do what's best for you. Go get you. Get what you need to get, right? Go get what you deserve. That's the one I hate. Go get what you deserve. As if that is what the mindset is. When you hear if someone in your circle, athletes talking to you, if someone in your circle ever says, go get what you deserve, and you kind of know that, like, if you're honest with yourself, like, what did I really, really do to deserve that? Then, that's very dangerous. That can leak into entitlement, and entitlement will absolutely kill your career. It'll make you uncoachable. You won't survive college sports. You definitely won't get to professional level if you are that entitled. Like if you are saying I deserve this, so I should just get it. It's a crazy and it can snowball. It's what I'm trying to say. It can snowball. That little thought that gets in your head. It's like Inception. You ever seen the movie Inception where Leonardo DiCaprio says the most dangerous thing is an idea? That idea, if someone just plants it in there, you deserve this. If you look in the mirror and you say like, well, but what did I really do to deserve what they're telling me I deserve? That's what you have to do, because there are some things that you deserve. Like, hey, if you are putting in the work, you might deserve to be on the field, but you don't deserve that if A doesn't equal B if A isn't there, right? So a lot of kids and a lot of athletes, all levels, they have this mindset, I deserve this, right? I deserve this. But then you look and you're like, well, why do you deserve this? What did you do? Well, what kind of things did you do to deserve what you think you deserve? And more times than not, it's a whole lot of nothing. It's people in their circle telling them, you deserve this, man. You deserve this. This is yours. This is something that you should expect to get. And that can be really dangerous to a culture, one, to an athlete, two, and to a career. There's just no way to be sustained in success as an athlete with that kind of mindset. I will die on that hill. I know there are people out there, there are athletes out there that are talented enough to ride on that talent for a long time. And if you just look at them in the short term and you get caught up in that, you can say, well, that kid was entitled his whole career and he had a lot of success. But then you're like, well, where are they now? Like where do they end up going compared to where they could go? Right? That's where you judge people. Where could they have gone based on what you saw talent wise and what you could have saw if they had the right mindset? Where could have they gone? Right? Johnny Manziel. They're about to come up with a documentary, right? On Netflix. Documentary about Johnny Manziel. It's probably, I don't know what kind of light it's gonna put him in. I imagine if he's a part of it, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna sugarcoat some of the stuff that's not great. But he was a phenom, right? He took the world by storm in college. He was writing talent. He was writing talent, and I think everyone knows by now, at that stage in his career at least, don't know what he's like now. Don't know what his mindset is now or what his attitude is now. But at that point in his career, that dude was entitled. He was a guy that thought he deserved everything, and he got into the NFL, and it showed, right? It showed. He couldn't cut it. He thought he deserved stuff, It didn't work out. He couldn't handle the lows. He couldn't handle losing because he was given everything. Like everything was just kind of coming to him pretty easily on the college level because he was riding his talents. There's a lot of stories like that. Not trying to single out Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel fans, don't blast me in the comments. I'm sorry. Like you can't argue the fact that at that point in his career, in coming out of college, like he had some hurdles. He had some mental hurdles he had to get past. But then what you judge him by is not just by that, but you'll look at what he could do on the field. And I don't think anyone could argue that what he was doing in Texas A&M and what the things he could do were phenomenal. Like you watched him play football, and if you only judged him based on what the football told you, what the film told you, then everything was there, right? He had the eyesight, he had the field presence, he had the swagger, the confidence, he had the vision, he had the athleticism. Obviously, he had the arm. He could make the throws. He beat Alabama, right? Alabama was up and like they were in their heyday there. They beat them. So you get this feeling like, okay, he's a winner. He can do things talent wise. He's there, but then you realize what his mindset did to that talent, right? Like if he had the Tom Brady or Julian Edelman mindset, he would have probably had a very successful professional career. And eventually, that talent and that entitled mindset is going to hit a brick wall. And what I think happens in our sports culture, and when we look at athletes and we watch, especially we as when I'm saying we, I think of athletes that are looking up to like a blueprint, looking for a blueprint on how to do things. I think we get so enthralled in the success that every guy has that we kind of get brushed under the rug the fact that it fizzled. It fizzled out. We leave that out of the blueprint, like because we are so many guys that are following this blueprint that's entitlement, ego, I deserve this. And it's like we have so many examples in the past of that not working out long term. Work short term, you might be able to ride your talent short term, but we have so many examples of it just not being able to be sustained with that mindset. But yet it's growing. It's growing more and more. And I gotta think it's because we have so much focus on the one part of the story. And then when a guy starts to fizzle out, he's just left out of the book. He's not even like, we don't even focus on that aspect. We don't like to read what we don't like to know. As a human race, right? Like if we get to a part of the book and we're like, this is not going to end up well, we start to realize that it's probably not going to end the way we want to. We put it down, we throw it away. I'm sure a lot of people that watched Game of Thrones after it completed probably stopped at season 8 because they realized that people did not like season 8 that much. So they're just like, you know what? I'll just read the footnotes of season 8 and I'll just love seasons 1 through 7 and leave it there. I know that's a silly example, but that's kind of the things that we do as a group. We kind of we enjoy it, and then let's just not learn the lessons of the end. And when people fumble the ball, when people fizzle, when people don't get to where they want to go, let's just ignore that. Let's just leave that alone. And that can be detrimental. You have to learn from every aspect, right? So basically, to wrap up my TED talk about this, as I see more and more talent come through our area, more and more people that I think are absolutely able to go and do a lot of great things as an athlete in their future. One, make sure you're looking at the people in your circle, because I talked about it. The people in your circle that are telling you deserve this, are they really helping you, or are they gassing you up, right? Are they trying to really make you look at yourself in the mirror? Do you deserve this? Like, and then 2, even if you have a great circle, be a great reflective image of yourself. Be able to look at yourself and be honest with yourself. And then 3, and I'll bring it full circle to what the great quote was that started this. Remember, if you're in a team sport, Mental toughness is what's best for the team isn't necessarily always what's best for you. And that can go way past athletics too. If you're in any kind of job atmosphere where it is a collective effort to get what you want done, and that's a lot of job titles, right? There aren't a lot of jobs out there where you don't have to work with people to get something done. We're talking about athletics because this is a sports network, of course, and we lean towards sports, but that can be implied everywhere, right? If you are in a group or you're in a, sometimes they don't call it team in the workforce, but it's a team. Like if you're in that kind of collective where you're trying to work towards one goal as a group, sometimes you have to have the mindset that what can I sacrifice, or what is that something that I can do to make this better, even if it's not exactly what I see myself doing, or it's not my favorite thing to do in the world, or it's going to make my day suckish. If it's going to drive us forward, how can I do it? And Julian Edelman was a great example of that. And that's why he was a sustained greatness, and he had a great career, and he had a lot of success in the Patriots organization because he bought into that mindset that the Patriots kind of made you buy into if you were going to be there for a long time. Go check out that podcast episode. It's a great interview. There's so much more that I would love to talk about that I'm just going to leave it to them. It's a great interview with Julian Edelman. I absolutely recommend it. New Heights podcast. It's a great podcast. Actually, there aren't any interviews there that they don't do a good job. And what I love about this new podcast world, I think we're having a surgence of podcasts come up ever since the pandemic. What I love about these not just football, athlete podcasts, is when they're on a podcast, you kind of get them a little bit more authentic. And I like seeing authentic athletes just talking about their career, talking about their lifestyle, talking about the things that they have done in their career. Because when they're doing an interview with ESPN, or they're doing the CBS interview with Jim Nantz or Tony Romo or whatever it may be, they're definitely putting on an image, right? You can tell, like, they're very calculated on what they're going to say. It's just this, they have to hit these beats. But when they're on a podcast, there's still stuff. It's probably not 100% authentic. I'm not going to be naive and think they're doing it. They're still in the public eye, right? They still have to put on that window. But at the same time, it's drawn down a little bit. They're dressed down a little bit. And that's what I like about, being able to hear these athletes. New Heights is not the only one. That I listen to a lot of sports podcasts with athlete interviews just to hear, just like I said, the torn down version a little bit of their authentic journey is something that I think is really cool. And you take a lot from, whether you're an athlete or not. You take a lot from what these guys have gone through and how they've gotten to the top of their particular craft. And you can take that and you can not copy and paste, but you can really use that in whatever your craft is. And you can get a lot from it, even if you're not even an athlete. Like, I've seen a lot of people that hate sports, but like listening to those kind of interviews and reading those books from athletes, because it's a great tool to get a roadmap on how to be great or how to be successful. And that doesn't have to be sports. Like, that roadmap to greatness is pretty universal. Whether you're, you want to be an athlete, you want to be an artist, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, whatever it may be. The roadmap that these athletes have to say they get to the top of where what their craft is can be universal. And that's why I think a lot of even non-sports fans enjoy that aspect of sports media. And I think that might be something that I might be interested in trying to get a little bit more of. That's why we love these player profiles. They're telling these player stories, and they're a little bit, we try to keep it as conversational as possible, because we don't want it to be that streamlined hit the beats interview where you don't really get a lot of the authentic personality of the person in their journey. So we try to do that, and that's a great way to segue into what we're going to be doing in our next segment of the show, which is From the Vault with Brooke Heron from Louisville Girls Basketball. That'll be next after the break when we get back on Running Point, brought to you as always, by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. We will be back in a bit with continued coverage of From the Vault series on Running Point.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
As fine as the eye can see, the finest hardwoods from the finest trees. Made for your home and within your means, Baird Brothers will help fulfill your dreams. Let life and light come shining through in quiet morns. And heavy traffic, too. Find your easy-to-afford fine hardwood floors and doors and more at BairdBrothers.com.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Hi, I want to tell you about my Trish Yearwood home collection available at Sheely's Furniture. With 2 locations serving Ohio and Pennsylvania, Sheely's is one of the country's top sellers of my home collection. And the best part? At Sheely's, you never have to wait for a sale. They offer everyday low pricing as well as a price match guarantee, so you can shop the Trish Yearwood home collection with confidence. Come see my collection with something to offer for every room in your home and get it all with free local delivery, only at Sheely's Furniture.
And welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you as always by our good friends up in that top right corner, Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you, and we thank them for their support since day one of Running Point. All the twists and turns that this show has taken, Greenwood has never gone away from their support or their sponsorship, and we thank them for their belief in what we are doing here on Running Point. And speaking of Greenwood Chevrolet, did you know that electric is here? And are you ready for it? Whether you're looking for a truck or something smaller, there is a Chevy EV out there for you. Explore Chevrolet's line of current and upcoming EVs at greenwoodchevrolet.com/greenwoodev. Electric is here. Rethink, recharge, redefine. Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you. We're going to continue today with our continuation of our series from the vault, reliving some of the great player profiles that we've had the pleasure of being able to gather over the last school year, 2022-2023, before we gear up for previewing the new upcoming school year and the fall sports season coming up very quickly. Today, we're going to be reliving an interview that we did in the winter with Louisville basketball standout guard Brooke Heron. One of my favorite interviews that we did all year, to be honest. Like, it's such an authentic. Remember, I talked all about what I love about the authentic interviews that these athletes are doing on podcasts and different things like that. The first half of the show, this is a really, really good interview, really authentic kind of interview about her journey, what she's gone through. She had to deal with an injury late in the season after this interview as well. Was able to come back, work through it, play in our All-Star game, which I thought was awesome because there was a time when I thought you probably weren't going to get Brooke here in our All-Star game. You know, she got hurt right before the end of the season, missed her tournament run. And I thought, I don't know, man. I don't know if we're going to get her to play at YSU. That's going to be a lot to ask. But from what I heard from her camp was that she was so motivated to play in this YSN All-Star game. She just worked her tail off, rehabbed, knew it wasn't like she wasn't going to be on the floor for 40 minutes, knew that she could push herself and be able to play for that small amount of time in the All-Star game. And it was great having her there. She made an impact, and it was a great interview as well. So without further ado, here's your trip into the vault for today with Louisville girls basketball's Brooke Heron. Anthony Hartwig here with a Louisville girls basketball player profile. I am joined by Brooke Heron Jr. and one of the leaders of this team, and really someone that is riding high off a buzzer beater on YSN. That's one of the reasons why we reached out to her so quick. So we're going to start with just reliving that moment, what it was like, what was going through your mind with 5 seconds left, down by 2, and what that moment was like.
Before that, we had a timeout. Taryn was going to the free throw line. She had one more free throw left. And we knew who we wanted to foul, and we executed that perfectly. And she happened to miss the free throw, which we were obviously praying for. And Taryn got the rebound. Delaney got it off a pass. Taylor passed it. And once I got the ball, I heard 3, and I realized we have 3 seconds. So I knew one dribble, and I was pulling it up, trying to get the best shot I could. And to be honest with you, once it left my hands, it felt pretty good. I knew that I got a pretty good shot off. And once I saw it go in, I couldn't believe it went in. And to be honest with you, Miss Kudo was there, and it was her first game of the year. And to be able to get that win for her was amazing. And to celebrate with my teammates and my coaches, it's an unforgettable moment that I'll never forget. But it's just amazing. And it's still a dream to me, but I keep reliving it. But it's just an amazing it's just an amazing thing. There's no words can describe it.
Now, you get a lot of the limelight because, of course, you're the one that hit the shot. But like you said, you had to have a teammate grab the rebound, get the pass, and then another pass to you. I mean, what does that say about this team that they're able to execute in a very high-pressure situation like that? Not just yourself hitting the shot, but your teammates getting the ball to you as well.
Right. I mean, it's a 5-player game. There's no I in team. And to be honest with you, the whole game was a team effort. I got in foul trouble early, and I knew my teammates had my back. You know, T and Courtney were knocking down shots. Delaney, I would keep telling everybody she had a block party underneath. She was rebounding. And in that last 5 seconds, 4 different girls touched the ball and had an impact. And that shot wouldn't have happened if not all those girls would have done the right thing at the right time. So, yeah, that shot was the big memorable thing, but so many other girls had a huge impact on that night. And I have to say, I have the best teammates in the world.
You know, you play other sports too. Is there any better feeling than a buzzer beater? We were talking about this on the show today. Is there any other better feeling?
For me, no. The buzzer beater is probably one of the best moments I've experienced. You know, any big moment like that in basketball to me, but the buzzer beater, yeah, can't top that.
It looked like you kind of knew it was going in off the hands. I could tell you, like, starting to walk a little bit towards the bench. Did you feel it off the hand that, like, this was a pretty good shot going in?
Yeah, I felt like I knew I had 3 seconds. I got that dribble, and I set my feet really good, so it felt like a really clean shot. And once I saw it halfway, I was like, I think this baby's got a chance of going in, and I think I had a really good shot on that. I was like, and then once I saw it go, and I just went crazy. I just wanted to hug my teammates and just celebrate because it felt good, and I felt like I had a good shot. I didn't rush it. I took as much time as I could with as much time that I had, and once I saw it go, and I was just so relieved.
To add to that, you are able to do it at home, which leads into the next question. What was it like to have that moment with the fans of Louisville? We know they support you guys so well with the Louisville community.
Oh, it was huge. You know, we have one of the best fan section in the county and maybe even the state, I'd say. And the biggest fan there that was there that night was Miss Kudo.
Mm-hmm.
Again, she hadn't been to a game all year, and she was there. And no matter win or loss, I knew she'd be proud of us. But when I hit that shot, obviously I celebrated with my team, but I knew I had to run over and give her a hug because I felt like she had a part in that. The biggest thing that I'm going to always remember is once that shot went in was obviously hugging my teammates and my coaches, but to hear the Louisville fans just erupt, it's a memorable thing, and I'll never forget it in my 4 years of playing here.
All right, so you bring up Miss Kudo, which is another topic that we have to talk about because not just has this program wrapped their arms around her, but the whole school. You know, we saw the fundraiser in the preseason with the boys program. What's it mean to you to go to a school that is like that, in a community that is like that, that just wraps their arms around people that are also in the community?
It's an amazing feeling, you know. I've seen it multiple times. I've lived in Louisville my entire life, and I've seen it multiple times with multiple families. And it's just amazing to know that no matter what anyone's going through, this community is willing to give whatever they can and wrap their arms in full support whenever. You know, when this news came, it was a huge shock to all of us, but we knew that this community would come together. We had about a week for that Kudo Strong event. And the amount of people that came together to come and get it going, the baskets, we had over 50 baskets, all the fans that were there for her. It was just an amazing feeling to know that this amazing family had so many people behind them because they have given so much to this town. And to know that we have that support, it was just amazing for them.
All right, so let's talk about Coach Kudo. Obviously, we all heard the story last year. He gets a phone call on a golf course late in the process, and you got to come, coach. Okay, I'll do it. Here in his second year in his kind of revitalized career with you guys, what's it meant to you to have him as a coach and his staff as a coach for you?
It's actually crazy. You know, he actually coached my mom in softball, so I'd always heard stories about him and how a great coach he was. And when I heard he got the coaching job, I knew I was just so lucky to be able to play for a man like him. You know, he's a great coach, but he's just a great human being. He's taught me so much about basketball, but more about life lessons. You know, he doesn't just preach basketball, he preaches things that you can carry on into life when basketball is no longer a part of my life as a player. And to play for him, I'm just so lucky and honored. And he brings great people also with his assistant coaching, Coach Swope and Coach Layton. You know, he just brings in the right people. And yes, they're great coaches, but they're great men at the same time. And they're idols to me. And I know I can look up to them if I ever need anything outside of basketball. I know they're always there. And just to play for him, I mean, it's an honor. I call him, he's a Louisville legend. You know, he's coached almost every sport that I can imagine in Louisville. And I'm just so grateful that I get the opportunity to play for him, especially with what's going on right now with his family, for him to come and still be able to coach us.
What are some of those things that you talked about that he's taught you about life outside of basketball and what you're going to be able to experience once basketball is over for you?
Yeah, the biggest thing he always says to us is, you know, basketball is just a part of what we do. And it's how we carry ourselves outside. You know, yes, basketball matters when we're in the gym, in the closed doors, when we're playing the games, but how we carry ourselves outside of the gym is really what matters. You know, that we go to school, we attend class. I mean, he was an English teacher, so he's always correcting us at practice if we use the wrong English terms. But, you know, just there's more to basketball. We always say it's bigger than basketball, especially what's going on with Miss Kudo. But he just teaches us how to be great women. And we'll have games late nights, he goes, make sure you guys go up to school. You say hi to everybody. You appreciate, you say thank you. Just he's the great person to have as a role model because he carries himself the way he preaches it. So that's what I would say is the best thing he's taught me.
All right. On the court, what do you think is the thing that he's helped you with most on your game?
My defense, obviously I like to score offensively, and my freshman year I had to learn how to play defense against girls that were probably 3 years older than me. But when he came in, he knew that I could just reach a higher level offensively and defensively. And we always say we can break through the sky. There's always a glass and we can break through it. And he's just elevated my game defensively, you know, with ball pressure, becoming more confident in myself with my feet and my speed work. And we really worked on that in the off season, as well as my three. I didn't shoot it a lot last year, but he's helped build that confidence in me, and he'll stay and he'll rebound for me in the summer. And I'm grateful that he is willing to take that time to push me to get better.
All right, so you're an upperclassman now. It's your junior year. And with all the seniors that left last season, there was a little bit of a leadership void that I'm sure you've been asked to kind of fill a little bit. What kind of leadership responsibilities have you taken on this year to be a more active leader of this team?
I think that as a younger kid last year, I was, you know, an underclassman still as a sophomore. I always led by example. And I think that's what the best leaders do, is they lead by example. But now it's kind of being more of a voice. You know, we do have some young girls still with not as much varsity experience. So it's kind of taking them under my wing, help build confidence in them, kind of take them under the ropes, help them learn a little bit, but also be the voice of that team. When things aren't going our way, I have to be able to push us and give some confidence, but also be like, hey, guys, this isn't the right way. We need to fix this. But just use my voice a little more, but also you still have to lead by example in the same way.
All right, so all those seniors, we had a chance to talk with all of them last year. We got really a good understanding of how good of leaders they were. What do you think is the biggest thing they taught you about being a leader, being able to play with them for a couple of years?
Never be afraid to voice your opinion. You know, they always knew when to step in and say, hey guys, we got this. It's okay. Calm down. We're good. You know, that's the biggest thing that they gave to me, was confidence. You know, I was still young and still trying to figure my way on the varsity floor, but they always said, Brooke, you got this. Have confidence in yourself. We're going to come together as one and we're going to get this done. And I mean, we miss their presence on the floor, but we're learning to adapt without them right now and fill those voids. But that was the biggest thing. They always gave me confidence and always found a way to boost me up whenever I was down.
We've also seen them at a couple of games supporting you guys, a handful of them that are able to make it. What's it mean to you that they're seniors that don't just graduate and then leave the program? Like, they graduate, but they still care about the success of you guys. They care about the success of the players they played with, and they're feeding into the program even after they graduated.
Oh, it means the world to us. You know, I played 2 years with them, some 3, you know, some girls had played 3 with them. But, you know, my teammates are my best friends. I spend every day with them, even though sometimes we might go out at practice and we compete with each other. We always know how to have fun. And the fun times are memories that I wish we could still have with each other. You know, I miss them a lot, but I know they're doing great things in college, and I'm super proud of them and just super glad to have them in my life. And, you know, I still talk to them about basketball all the time. They'll wait and talk to me, and just, again, bringing that confidence to me, saying, Brooke, it's okay. You did a good job. And just kind of coaching me through the game a little bit, you know, especially Kelsey. You know, she's in college now, so me and her still talk a lot about her experience and just what she sees from me and what I could do better on. And I just truly appreciate the relationships I have with them.
We're talking about all these leaders in your life. Who are some of your personal role models that you've carried with you along in your career?
Oh, yeah. I've had a lot of people that have influenced, but my biggest ones are my parents. You know, without them, I wouldn't be the player or the woman I am today. My dad and me just have a special relationship. You know, my dad always preached to me that you walk on the floor the same way you walk off. And my dad's been my role model since I was little, because he's like my mentor in basketball. You know, we're always watching film together. We're always talking about things. And, you know, he always celebrates my victories. But at the same point, he knows how to coach me and say, hey, you did this good, but we still got to get better and we still got to strive for more. And my mom's just my biggest fan. She's always yelling. If you hear someone screaming in the stands, it's always my mom. And I just have the best support system in the world, and I couldn't be more blessed to have them.
Growing up, were there any basketball players you watched on TV or in the national realm that you thought, hey, I can play like her, or I can play like him, or I want to model my game after them?
Oh, my biggest one was LeBron James. My dad showed me from him from day one, just being big like him, being strong, going to the hole. And Kobe and Michael Jordan were the other two. Just their mentalities, just being mentally tough and not letting people faze me. But the girl one was Diana Taurasi. My dad, I'm a big UConn fan, so we used to watch her, and then watching her play in the WNBA now, just the mental toughness is the biggest thing I take away from professional athletes, and how mentally tough they are, and in game, in their warm-ups, just seeing how they prepare and how they execute in the game.
You get a chance to see this in all 3 seasons, but Louisville really pours into their girls programs. It's unique. It's not everywhere. Some programs kind of you get forgot about if you're a female athlete. What does it mean to you as a female athlete to be at a school and to be at a community that does pour into you, not just as athletes but as people?
Oh, it's amazing. We get almost everything the guys do. You know, we have 3 shooting guns at our school. We use them just as much as the guy use them. We have the same equipment as them. You know, we always joke there's sometimes in the summers where I'll be working out and the boys are in there, and Coach Siegfried will be like, "Brooke, do you want to jump in?" I hesitate sometimes to say yes because I'm worried they're going to hurt me, but we all come around each other, and it's basketball, and we all share the same love for the game, and we're all willing to help each other out when needed. And that's what this community is about. You know, it doesn't matter if you're a girl or a guy, you know, we just want to see each other strive and be great. And, you know, the boys made a great tournament run last year, and I wanted to be able to do the same thing at some point in my career. So, you know, whatever we can do to help each other, that's what we're about here at Louisville.
So many successful athletes in Louisville, and I asked this question to a lot of players that are in school systems like that have so many successful athletic programs. If you had to pick one athlete, it could be a boy, it could be a girl, it could be any sport, that you have to get an autograph from before you leave Louisville. Like, I got to get an autograph because you know they're going to be great at what they do. What athlete are you choosing?
Right now, I'm going to have to go with Will Jancic. You know, he just hit his 1,000th. He's very close to having the career, and I think that kid's going to have a great career at Finland. You know, he's a great athlete. He's a hard worker. You know, a lot of people don't see the work he puts in behind closed doors, and I think he's going to do some great things in the rest of his basketball career.
We'll have to set that up for you. We'll get you that autograph. Don't worry. When you look at your teammate, now let's talk about your locker room. Who are some of the girls that you've really gotten to know because of basketball that you think maybe without basketball you wouldn't have had as much of a chance to grow a relationship with?
The biggest one for me is Courtney Barwick, our sharpshooter. She's a sophomore this year. Basketball brought us together. You know, I didn't really know Courtney until basketball. We played for the same AAU organization, but, you know, my freshman year, she was kind of tentative, or my sophomore year, she was a freshman, and she was kind of tentative, and I knew how she felt, so me and her kind of bonded, and we always shot together. And now, you know, we compete at practice, we make fun of each other, but, you know, she's one of my best friends, and she has the same goals that I have, and we know how to push each other, but also have fun at the same time. And I just don't think without basketball we would have ever met. And just to have someone that has the same aspirations and goals as you is just an amazing thing. And she's a great human being, and I just love having her as a teammate and a friend.
We always do rapid fire questions before we let our players go, and it's Christmas season, so this one's going to be a little bit of holiday theme. The first one I'm going to ask, if I don't know if you guys do see Secret Santa, but if you do, or if you were to, what teammate do you think would give you the best gift?
Actually, it's funny you say that. We do Secret Santa. I think that Sammy Beatty, who's one of our freshmen, would give a pretty good gift because she owns one of our local sporting apparel. I think she'd give a pretty good gift for Secret Santa.
All right, obviously, we're not going to ask about your Secret Santa this year. That is a top secret in the envelope thing. But in the past Secret Santas, what have been some of the good gifts that you've been able to give?
So a big one I did the one year was we did like this movie pack. So we bought like a 4 at the special Tinseltown where you get the reclining seats. I bought a huge candy pack. You had a blanket. And it was just a night where you can go out with family or friends, and we bought you a movie, and you could just go relax in the reclining chairs, have a nice blanket, and a bunch of candy.
All right, one of the most widely debated questions during Christmas season is, when is it acceptable to start playing Christmas music? In your household, when is it acceptable to start playing Christmas music?
Ooh, I'm a big Mariah Carey fan, and I try to get Coach Layton to play it for me at practice, and he wouldn't play it for me until after Thanksgiving. So I'm thinking right around Thanksgiving time, but definitely after Thanksgiving time.
But you definitely hit it before because you're just that big of a fan.
For sure. I'm trying to hit my vocals like Mariah Carey sometimes.
Oh, that's hard. Don't be breaking no glass like that.
Oh, I know. It might not sound very good, but I try.
What's your favorite Christmas character? There's so many characters in movies, and what do you think your favorite Christmas character is?
Oh, Elf for sure. If you want a quick laugh, I always turn on Elf. He just never fails to make me laugh. Um, he's just so jovial, and I call it, he's like a stupid dumb character, but he's just every move he does, you can never expect what he's gonna do, and it just makes me laugh, and I cry laughing with my friends all the time watching it.
What is your favorite childhood Christmas memory?
The first when I my dad so one morning he's like, I think there's a big present outside, and my dad had bought our first big 10-foot hoop when I was about 8, and he's like, this is going up in the spring and we're going to get up a lot of shots, and it's the same hoop I've had ever since that day, and that's the best moment of my life for Christmas.
All right. Before we let you go, I do want to give you the chance to once again thank your support system. I know you gave them a little bit of a shout out earlier, but all the people that are there for you, all the people that have been there for you, and all the people that are in your corner, give them a shout out before we let you go.
Oh, yes. I just want to thank, all the coaches, the trainers, the AAU coaches, especially the Louisville fans, my teammates, and especially my family for their constant support and my dreams and my goals and just being there for me no matter what. And I'm so lucky to have them in my life. And I just couldn't dream of a better life without them, and just so grateful, blessed.
All right, Brooke, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and talking to us about your season and the wonderful moments that you're going to have in the future. We can't wait to cover you the rest of your career, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Yes, thank you.
What did I tell you? That was a fun interview, right, that we had over the winter break. Christmas in July a little bit. We had a lot of Christmas questions. You're going to get that with Reliving Winter Sports interviews. You're going to get some Christmas questions. So that was a great one, though. Brooke Heron did a lot of great things going into her senior year at Louisville. Going to do big things for the Leopards this year with a brand new head coach as well for the Leopards. So a lot of good things in store for her and her career and that team as we move forward. Hey, let's go over what's going to be on the network tonight. We have NABF baseball. This is the start of the Senior World Series, aka the 18U World Series. We had the Junior and Sophomore World Series happen last week. And today is the start of the Senior World Series. Very exciting to see if we can get 3 out of 3 Class B teams to win it. Astro Falcons won 14U. Creekside won 16U. And now we have a chance to go 3 for 3. It all starts today. It actually all started about an hour ago. 12:30 on scene 1 is where it started. Eric Hughes is down there on the call. He'll be on scene 1 up until 8 o'clock. That's when Noah Ricks will take over on scene 1. Matt Marr is down there on scene 2. That game's going on right now as well. They'll also have a 3 o'clock game on scene 2, a 5:30 game on scene 2. Derek Rhodes will be on scene 2 at 8 o'clock. So both Eric Hughes and Matt Marr will be doing 3 games, and then will be relieved for the nightcap by Noah Ricks and Derek Rhodes. Mike McKenzie is on scene 3 right now. There's also a game on scene 3 at 3 o'clock and 5:30. And then in the nightcap, Mike McKenzie will be relieved by Ian O'Brien. He'll have the nightcap for you on scene 3 at 8 o'clock. So each field has 4 games. It's a total of 12 games on the network tonight. All of them covered, all of them green. The only place you can get them is YSN. That's why we are the best place to go for your local sports needs. And that is also why we are the best place to advertise. This is going to be per usual when you get into the fall sports season. There are going to be a lot of days with a lot of green on our spreadsheet, whether it be volleyball, soccer, and obviously football on Friday nights. We cover 60 plus communities, 60 plus schools in a lot of different counties. So if you are interested in being the next member of the YSN advertisement group, make sure to go to ysnlive.com/advertise. Check out the packages that we offer there. Fill out the form. We love to get the ball rolling on a partnership with you. With that being said, we are going to say goodbye for today. This is going to wrap up today's episode of Running Point. Tomorrow, we're going to have members of the Austintown 12U softball team on with their head coach, Matt Hambley. That's going to be fun. It's going to be a recorded interview, but we're going to play it for you guys as they get ready for a trip to regionals, one step away from the Little League World Series. So don't miss that tomorrow on Running Point 1 to 2. And we'll also, of course, recap the NABF, and we'll talk about a lot of other stuff on the Friday week cap of Running Point tomorrow from 1 to 2. Until then, I'm Anthony Hartwig. Thank you so much for tuning in today to Running Point. As always, we are brought to you